Hi guys. Today I thought we would come into the sewing room. I told you about the tins, using those, and I keep a lot of my scraps in here. So we're going to actually make some doll quilts, if you will, whatever you want to call those things. So let me get started. Let me get you situated and everything, and we will make some doll quilts. All right, see you guys soon. Thought I would show you, I have this panel here that I've tried to find something to do with, and what I've decided to do is I'm going to turn it into a quilt, but it needs a backing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of those scraps and I'm going to make a backing out of it. All right, let's get going. Now I do make sure that most of the time when I start sewing these scraps, because it's going to a third world country, something like the bats and those kind of things, the sugar skulls, those are not appropriate, so those will not be going into that quilt. They will get pushed aside to be used for something else. And you're going to find that I use a lot of scraps. I could iron them beforehand, but I'm not going to. I'm just not going to bother with that. And this is a nice long strip that I'm just going to add some things to it. And we'll get to going. I have my 1/4 foot sewing foot on. I am wearing my glasses for sewing because, first of all, if you've ever had a needle come flying at you, you'd want the eye protection as well. Eye protection is always a good idea to have, just because. And what I will do is butt up that fabric right next to that bottom one and just keep on sewing, adding these as I go, right sides together. And sometimes I have a long piece like this that I was going to make something out of and I didn't get that made. So I'll add this on here as well. Because after this is all sewn together, then we will cut it apart. We will make smaller blocks out of it. And I really don't worry about if they are evenly cut or not. If the sides are all equal, sides are off a little bit, like if it's not completely square, I don't worry about it. I just keep on going. This is just a way to use up your scraps. And there I've got one strip done. Now I'll add another one, add some other fabrics to it. I don't always put the longest strip on the top. And you'll find that I will keep almost every scrap because it can be turned into something. And many times those scraps can be used for quilts. Some of the scraps that can't be used, smaller ones, can be used for the amigurumi stuffing. If you are making cloth dolls, they can be used for that as well. So keep that in mind when you're sewing, that there's no reason not to use up almost every bit of your scraps. Not only that, but it's fun to see what you come up with. Now I do have some scraps in here that are actually canvas. I will sew the canvas to canvas. I don't normally sew that to fabric, quilting fabric. Just because I don't like doing that. Now this is another big piece of fabric I can turn into a quilt, and I will actually do that. I'll set it aside with some of these that are longer strips that I can actually add to it to make a border, those kind of things. Let me reach into my tin and grab a few other things. Like I said, the main thing that I don't want to do is I do not want to use Halloween fabrics. Just because of the stigmatism that goes with that. In third world countries, many times that's kind of a taboo area. You know, with the whole witchcraft thing, that kind of thing. And a child that has something like that might be at risk for actually being murdered or martyred because they were considered a witch. So basically, you can see what I'm doing. We've got a little Elsa here. I think that's appropriate since it's snowing outside. Really sick of Elsa. But yeah. I'm going to keep sewing, and I will speed this up at a later point once I get things a little more done. But talk with you soon. Now I've laid these down on my cutting board right sides together. I'm going to trim it up so that it fits, and then we will sew all the way around the edges, but we'll leave an opening probably about that far apart so that we can turn it inside out and then press it again. I'll be back for that. Okay, now we're going to go turn this right side out. We'll press it and then we'll come back and close up the seams. And you can do some quilting if you want or not. But see you back here in just a second. Alright, now we're going to close up the hole. I've pressed it, turned it, pressed it. And generally I will just sew along. You can see where I didn't get it totally even. I don't really worry about that. If you're a perfectionist, by all means, turn it and make it perfect. I think it adds a little bit of character to this. You will notice that there is no batting in this. And I don't put batting in these small doll quilts just because I don't think it's necessary. Now, if you're worried about the way that it flows back and forth, you can do some quilting in here. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go around the shape of the elephant. As best I can, and I'm not going to worry about it if it's not perfect. You notice that I'm actually just going around the covering that's over the elephant right now. I'll come back in and do the rest of it once I get finished with this portion. And I'm not going to worry about the fine details. Oops, guess I shouldn't have done that, huh? Well, there's a way to fix that. Oops. Knocking off my scissors. Now we've got most of that quilted there. I am going to come back in and do the legs and the trunk. And notice I am going to pick that up. I'm not going to worry about it. When you can turn your fabric as much as possible, do that. If you need to pivot, you know, always try to make sure that you do have that needle down. Okay, so there you have it. Now I need to trim up the strings on both front and back. But as you can see, there's a small quilt. Plus, got a nice colorful background. You've used those scraps. What a better way to use something up. These are things that I make to put in with the OCC, the Operation Christmas Child blankets. I have also done this just for friends who had baby dolls and wanted, you know, their grandkids wanted those baby dolls so that they have a small play quilt to use. Yeah, just a way to use up your scraps. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.